from here, where everything is, our life goals, our values, our interests, our expectations, our desires, what's important, what's a big deal. From here to here, turning our back on everything and opening ourselves to the vast, endless, like compare this to this, limited to here, and here goes on and on and on and on and on, just goes back, like it does not end, just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, from here to here, from here to here. Human consciousness, normal, artificial, inherited. Society, family, the world, our culture, our friends, our family, company culture, school culture, implicit rules of our society here. And then that becomes also our own consciousness, just within these brackets. You turn that outward and you go on and on. It just goes way back to the not known ends. This is like bookends, and this is like beginnings. Things, everything. Here, no thing, no things, nothing, void, nothing, no reference, as these are references. Lots of navigational systems, value system, school system, family system, culture, political, economical system, fiscal system, all of the things. Here, none of those things, none of those things. How do you navigate in the vastness, endless vastness? You navigate like a newborn. You know nothing, but you know everything. You know none of these things. As a newborn, you navigate according to your taste, to your felt true taste. Cannot go back to that. It's not that. The proposal, what's on top of the table is not to become a baby. That's impossible. But is to say no to more and more of the things, all of the things, one at a time, 10 at a time, whatever you can muster. It is to come from the nothing. Nothing. That's the proposal. That's what's on offer. Living from shadow and light to truth. To, just from here to infinite. From here to infinite. And also from here to infinite. It goes vast. Like what is possible for you can be considered way out there, really impossible when you're here. And it is, when you're here, it is. But as soon as you go like this, the sky is not even the limit. No magic. No miracles. At 5 o'clock you can be like this. At 5:04 you can be like this. At 5 o'clock you have no magic, no miracles. At 5:04 you can have all the miracles that you want by inverting your stream of consciousness, where you come from. This is such a mind-blowing thing. My mind actually blew up when I first saw this. I remember vividly. I was in bed. It was somewhere in the year 2020. I think it was 2020, or it might have been 21. A client had just renewed with me, and I was sensing that I could play with her in the wild frequency of just my own knowing, just counting on my own, just counting on myself, like nothing of these references, just me, which is this model of no prior references, no prior plans. So she had been a client of mine. We had a certain structure and a certain commitment, certain responsibilities, mine and hers. So we were operating inside of the normal human life, professionally speaking. I was being professional and she was being a responsible client, so we were navigating this way. And I felt that with her I could go wild, basically. It's funny that when we say wild, we don't have a very good connection to that word, do we? At least the word in Portuguese is selvagem. Whatever is selvagem is usually connotated with hooligan type forces. That someone that is up to destroying stuff just out of sheer vandalism. So wild is vandalism. It's disorderly just for the sake of rebellion and riots and trying to make something that is unjust, just like that connotation. Which is too bad, because this is the wild. And I remember having all of these feelings when I first was exposed to the possibility of human consciousness operate this way. But I couldn't conceive it. I just couldn't. And my questions were, but how could we live without order or principles? Like, there will be war, there will be chaos, it will be like the wild, wild west without references of good and bad, which is here. Like, how will societies function? How would I function? I could not conceive it. And that's like the first obvious questions for everyone that might be exposed to this conversation. So, but I felt that she would be fun to play with. So it was the first time that I had my own real lived like calling to end all of this structure and systems that we put in place to make sure that things go well, to make sure that we meet. Like, I remember vividly thinking, okay, if I let go of all of these grids, I remember thinking in terms of this is like a planner, a grid that overlays on top of your day, like a timeline is a grid. Like, for example, a timeline, just, it's actually, schedules are like grids, right? You have Monday column, Tuesday column, Wednesday column, and then you have the 9 o'clock line, the 10 o'clock line, and so forth. So it's an it's an actual true grid. But the entire human normal consciousness, the artificial kind, not the original kind, is a lot of grids, the values, the orders, the rules. And I remember thinking, okay, if I don't have that, how will I ever meet my clients? If we don't have our Wednesday at 4 o'clock session as usual, how will we meet without that? I mean, I remember like starting to uncover, unpack, reveal the first questions about going wild. It was so fun. And so I told her, I communicated with her. I don't remember if it was Voxer or if it was during the session. It was like, I invited her to do this experiment with me, and she was, I'm in. She loved it, as I suspected. So, but she said, but I have a lot of questions, like, how will that work? And I said, I don't know. But are you willing to play that game? And she said, yes. Like, so she was like, but so when will we have session? Like, when will it be? And how, like, she was like, you know, the obvious questions. But the vibe of these questions were not at all heavy or concerned or preoccupied or feeling true confusion, or it was just the normal disorientation. That's the better word, disorientation. But not a need to go back to the safe old ways of predictability, not at all. She was like, but disoriented. And it was fun to live that. So, but I realized that I was doing this experiment, but it was very compartmentalized. It started that way. It started with the coaching client that I had the pool to invite. And then I slowly started seeing all of the things, and I never stopped. I never stopped. So it's been either 4 years or 5 years. I don't remember exactly. Oh, with this client, when was this client? So during the pandemic, I had many clients, and she came. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but 20 or 21. I think it was 21. So it's been 4 years, maybe 4 years and change. And I never ended, because once you see this, you can't unsee it, and it's everywhere, all the fucking time, with everything, everywhere, with everything, with everyone, like no matter what. It's just a huge, mind-blowing, radical sight that you get to have that never leaves you. And so this is why everything, every single thing that people are out there in the world, on Facebook, on Instagram, in books, in programs, in all kinds of things, like everything that people talk about, to talk about everything and resolve everything, like every single thing that people are talking about, they are here. So they are making things a thing with all kinds of meaning attached, and values and importance, and everything matters. And the word matter has the Latin basis of materia. It's like the matter, materia is the prima materia, like it's the stuff of life. But that's all impregnated with lies, basically. It's an illusion, because nothing matters, and in this world everything matters, which is why it's so heavy. Especially shadow is highest density. So the least dense is the light, right? It's lighter, but it's still heavy. Once you get out of the shadow, you feel light. You go from being depressed to being joyful, but then you start creating life with all of the grids, the time grids, the value grids, the expectation grid, the family values, the cultural values, the importance of friendship, the importance of respect, the importance of being on time, the importance of making money, the importance of paying bills on time, the importance of taking your car to the thing for the inspection and to paying that on time, and the importance of being nice, the importance of apologizing, the importance of staying fit, the importance of looking for organic food, the importance of sleeping, the importance, like everything, just life just weighs you down, because it's a grid upon grid upon grid upon grid. And then you want to escape that heaviness, even if it's full of light, it becomes heavy again. And then you want to escape that, and you reach for something else, and now you are playing an instrument, musical instrument, because that makes you feel good. And then that instrument, that musical instrument, then becomes a thing, because now I have the expectation of improving, or that I have an expectation to show my professor or whatever, like, I paid for this guitar and now I must use it. So it becomes another grid, and so it goes. And then you let go of the guitar, because now you feel guilty that you aren't playing and it's sitting there, and so you sell it or you give it away, you give it to your brother on Christmas. And then you like look around, so what am I going to do now? I don't have my guitar. Oh, I know, I'm going to start walking, because walking is good for you. And then you feel on top of the world, because you got rid of that shadow and now you grab onto something that is light, and then you make that a thing again. Oh, now I'm not walking enough, or I interrupted my routine. Why am I such a loser? I can't keep up with anything. Like, I'm not good for compromise. I'm worthless. I'll never amount to anything. I will never lose the weight. I will never be fit. Blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden that lighten idea becomes heavy. And then you want to hold on to something else. And then you are going to do forgiveness. You're going to journal about forgiveness, and you're going to forgive all of the negative self-talk and all of the harmful self-harm that you've done to yourself. And now you are going to do that, and then you are going to do gratitude affirmations. You're going to be grateful for everything, because you feel like you have such an abundance of everything, and you are living life just focusing on what you don't have instead of focusing on what you have. So now you are going to do this gratitude practice every day or twice a day, because you've realized that you have not been grateful. Because now that's a thing as well. You've heard like some really amazing gurus are always out there saying that you have to be grateful. So now you're going to do that. So it's another grid. It's a light grid that you're going to superimpose on yourself, because, well, in the beginning it makes you feel good, because it's like uplifting, and it makes you focus on things that you love. You love your plants and your cats and your friends, and you love a fan. You love to be able to turn on the tap water and have clean water. So you just focus momentarily for those 15 minutes. You are focusing on things that make you vibe in a positive thing. But then all of that goes away, because that's a sticker. It's like you put like patches, stickers, like actual stickers, you know. And stickers have a duration. They don't last forever. And then you lose sight of them. Like when you put a sticker on somewhere, like if I were to put a sticker there for the next 2 or 3 days, I would notice it. But then that would become part of the scenery, and I wouldn't notice anymore. So then if I remove it, then I might notice it. Or then I'll have to put a bigger sticker or more stickers, you know. So that's like the metaphor for the light. It's like always putting on more things. So what's up? So it's all of the things that your artificial consciousness needs. That's the food and the water. Things are the food and the water. So it's the matter. The matter feeds that beast. Without it, it does not survive. Which is why, for all of you and for me in the past, it's almost impossible to perceive this thing. It makes it impossible to perceive itself, because you are distracted chewing on the food, and you don't see the beast that is doing the eating and the swallowing and the digestion. You just eat all the food, and all you do is to try to eat better food, because you want to have a better digestion and a better health. So you keep just looking for the bad stuff, the toxic stuff, and you just try to sort through the junk that you see, and you just try to eat healthy. But no matter how good you are at sorting, you are not seeing that who is doing the eating is the problem. Has to let go, has to go. Who is eating is what needs to end and die. So you have to have this perception that took me so long, but I feel it was like the biggest discovery of my life. So, like I've said so many times in lives and posts for the past 4 years or 2 years or 3, I don't know how long I've been talking about this. The normal consciousness that we are born into is the consciousness that we all operate in most of the time, which is, it has two big phases, is the shadow phase and the light phase. And throughout the day we are here all the time, but because we are born with this consciousness, with the void, it's the wild consciousness, the pure, natural, original consciousness. We have it. So throughout the day we could also have moments that we access it, but we don't do it consciously, because like I said, we are just too distracted doing the eating and the sorting. We don't see that who is doing the eating has got to go, is the problem, is the thing, that it even exists. We don't recognize its existence. And until then, we won't be able to do this by intention, with intention, with awareness and consciously. We will just be at the mercy of what is there active. So throughout the day we go from shadow to light. We might have truth knocking, but we dismiss it because it does not fit here. It's too disruptive. It's too whatever. It's too dangerous, too risky, too indecent, too irresponsible. It's like whatever does not feel like the norm here. You know, it's going to be too scandalous, too shameful. It has all kinds of possibilities. Like the true taste, for example, when you are listening to something that you, let's say that you go to a friend's house, or you go with a friend to your friend's parents, to their house, to the parents of your friend, okay? And you are there, and you are listening to some older family member tell the story from way back in the day, okay? Let's say that after 10 minutes, you are starting to wish that that person shuts up because you're not enjoying, it's not interesting, the person is repeating itself, you are getting a bit annoyed. Like you could use a break, like if your friend were to ask you if you wanted to leave, you would say yes, you know? So let's say that at the end of 10 minutes you start noticing you're not in the experience anymore. You are noticing that you are in the experience. So you are having this outside in. You are in, but you are looking from the outside in. Like, oh, I'm here in this house listening to this person I'm not enjoying. You're not in the experience. So you're not truly enjoying it because you're not in it. You just, like many times I say, you're putting captions on it. When you're putting captions on an experience, it's because you're not truly living it. So it's not for you. Very likely it's not for you. So you started to surrender to the thing because you don't want to be impolite, you don't want to be rude, you don't want to stand out, you don't want to offend anyone's feeling, like all of that jazz. Like that's what so many people go through in so many occasions, in situations, right? So another 10 minutes go by, and now you're like really like, like, okay, let's just let me go to the bathroom, or go, like you start asking for a glass of water. So you start getting restless. And after 10 more minutes, you're like, as the old times when we used to wear watches, like, look at the time. I forgot that I have to pick up my cousin at the bus station. Whatever. Like you can't put up with it anymore. So this is where you are operating here, okay? Because you're taking into consideration the values, the family values, the friend values, all of that social behavior that is normal. So if you want to be polite, you are going to suck it up against the truth, which is here, which is wild. Because in truth, okay, what you wanted, if you had the courage, was if you were to do the wild thing, the true thing, he would have said, I'm out of here, this is not for me, or something that would occur to you. Like you would act according to the true command of your, the true command that you'd be getting. And then that's on a case-to-case basis, whatever is the case, the situation, whatever comes up. So you will not act, you will not do the wild thing, which is the truth, because it's just too disruptive or too rude or too like something, it would become a memorable thing in that household. Your friend got up and left, or your friend just didn't say anything, or your friend, like whatever, you will be stamped as a persona non grata or something, or maybe not, who knows. But those are the risks that you take when you go from here to there. So here you pay a price that is predictable. You already know what you will be counting on. So you already know that to suck it up really feels awful, but that's the price that you are willing to pay. If you are not willing to pay that price, you can always choose to turn your back on that and act from a place of truth. So that's how you become aware of being in the entanglement of social norms and expectations versus just the wild truth, and leave. So you can just whisper to your friend, I'm gonna go, okay? And if she asks, why, what's happened, I say like, I'm not enjoying myself anymore. And she might be like, oh my gosh, you know, but the truth is so disarming that there's no possible rebuttal, you know. So your friend might even appreciate you for you having said the truth, and that's walking on the wild side. So it doesn't have to be anything, you know, it doesn't have to be anything that you don't want it to be, basically. So, olá Isabel, Isa querida, percebes inglês? Acho que percebes um bocadinho de inglês. Estou aqui a falar da diferença entre a consciência normal, a sombra, a luz, versus a verdade. A verdade. Então, so with that client, I had my first experience of living from truth, and then I started and I never stopped, and it just like spreading to all of the areas and spreading to most of the areas and spreading to most of the moments in my life. And it's such a wild ride, of course, because that's where it's at. It's in the wilderness of the human consciousness. So we've never been here. We have never been here. I have never been here. Like in every situation. The other day I was telling Tatiana, with whom I speak every day, she's also navigating in these wild waters. She was going through something, and I said, look, you have never been here in this part of the ocean. And so every situation, even if it is familiar to us, like a situation at our job or with a client or with a friend or with a family member, even though we've had situations, because we weren't born yesterday, so we are experienced, so we've had all kinds of situations. So we have never had these situations from this lens, from truth. We have never had them. So I mean, nothing ever repeats itself to begin with, but to experience these normal situations in personal relationships or professional relationships or whatever other types of relationships, when you are out and about taking care of stuff, when you go into a financial institution, or you go to social security, or you go to take care of your car, you go to the supermarket, you go to a restaurant, anywhere. You've had all kinds of little things, but you have never lived them from this wildness, from the no references, no grids, no pre-installed, no pre-planned, no pre-thought out, no preconceived notions. So from the wildness of your taste, from the wildness of your now taste, from the wildness of what turns you on now, you have never lived those circumstances, those little things. So it's always new. If before they were semi-new, many times they are just old. It's just the same old thing that you have. You always have this, you always bang heads with the same kinds of people, with the same kinds of problems. You always have the same issues, like it tends to repeat itself. So it's much, much more of the same. But when you come from truth, it's a moment-to-moment thing. So it's always a new creation. It's new because it's created in that moment. It's created in that moment. The response is of that moment. It's only in that moment that you know what you want to say, what you want to do, and that is so refreshing, but it's so confusing at the time, or disorienting. It can be disorienting, and it can be very scary, and because this navigation is so unique and so it's so new, that this path can be very lonely. So now for 2 months now, I've been having the luck of navigating this very closely with Tatiana and Chi with me, because this path is kind of crazy sometimes, because we do things that are so out of character, even for ourselves, because we are also in this enclosure, in this cage that is the normal human consciousness. So we are brought up in it. So I have expectations to be nice to people. I have expectations of myself to show up for people, and so it's always very confronting and difficult and confusing and disorienting for me when I have something planned with a friend, or with or more friends, or with my husband, or with my family, and an hour till the thing, I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I truly, like, I thought I wanted, and I did. That's why I booked it. That's why I said yes. It was a turn on. It was to my taste to go. But then on the day of, many times, I don't want to. Sometimes it's an hour till the thing. And what is this? That's not how in the cage people operate. And then you have the coaches doing it even worse. The coaches then, to help you, so quote unquote help you, they want to be able to instill notions of commitment, discipline, resilience. You know, you have to be able to see it through. Once you begin, you cannot stop. Once you begin an exercise regimen, you start going at the gym, you have to find a way to be focused and disciplined and commit and massive action. So the coaching comes even to make things worse, because they have found ways to really make sure that you don't get out of here, you know, like, you don't get out of here like you started, now you're going to finish, you know, you're going to do everything, you're going to have mindset, like drills. They give you mantras, they give you affirmations, they give you all kinds of things for you to really grasp and put your nails on the thing, like you went for it and now you're going to get stuck with it forever. That's like the champion's way. Yeah, that's how you are victorious. You know, it's the long term and the short term goal, and you have to be oh so motivated. The motivation is everything, and the mindset and the focus and the discipline and the action and the goals and the smart goals, the specific, they're emotional, they are, you know, and all of this is inside this normal consciousness. And it's all a fallacy. But as I said, this is the monster eating the foods, and the people are just not aware of who is doing the eating is the consciousness that has to go, that has to end. And turn your back on all of that and refuse to engage with everything that is not true. That is not true. You don't want to do that exercise regimen. You don't want to. So why do you do it? Oh, because of beliefs that you've drilled into your head. It's not at all that what you want to do. Oh, but then you're going to feel so good. Then you have the reward. Then you start losing the weight. Then you can start wearing all of the things that you want and you feel oh so good. Okay? This is like it's a very advanced level of it's not for everyone. Not everyone can do that. It's a very advanced level of cramming light into your shadow. It's a way of cramming goodies into a life that was feeling bad. So people do get a jolt from it. People do get benefits from it. People do, but that's because you were stagnated before. You were defeated. You were frustrated. You were feeling like a loser. You were feeling weak. You were feeling that you didn't have a purpose. You felt wandering through the days. And now you have an anchor. You have your gym routine. You have your personal trainer. You have your body to tend to. So that infuses life into your days. But it's still a fallacy. Okay? It's still a fallacy. It's just not a heavy one. But it will get there. Which is why people get off the thing. So, or if they don't get off, they do get off, but then they bombard themselves with more motivational shit and more inspirational shit, more of the gurus, they put more Tony Robbins and more coaches in order to keep on cranking and keep on running, and then you motivate yourself by signing up to Ironman, because you need to have a carrot to go for it, because you need that injection of energy to motivate you, because it's not truthful. You need to get it from somewhere, from the outside, from the periphery. Then you hire the coaches, then you hire the teams, and then you belong to groups, and then you enroll in these races and these events. It's just a way to keep you motivated and disciplined and going, and oh yes, you feel so victorious. You see, none of it is truthful. But it's the best that a few people can do. It's only a few people that do Ironman. It's only a few people that can make it through attending gym every month that they pay. Most people pay the gym and they don't go. So, and then those people that pay the gym and don't go, they feel defeated. They start negative self-talk. They self-criticize. They are very self-defeating and very demeaning, and that's bad for them, But they believe that what would be really good is if they had a fuck ton of motivation to reach the heights of just those few that can do it. They truly believe that that's the ticket for success and happiness, and so many people just bet everything to just really try to make it to be like the 5% that can reach that goal. But it's one illusion that is heavy and one illusion that is light. But it's all an illusion. It's neither are truthful, because again, you are failing to see that the consciousness that is doing all of that talking and that keeps that narrative alive, all of the narratives, that's the problem. Because it's here, it's this one, it's not this one. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to end for now. So I'll be talking to you some other time, maybe. Goodbye for now.